Everybody put your hands up for Abba Yahuwah. Put your hands up. Yeah. Put your hands up, my people. Put your hands up. Put your hands up, my people. Put your hands up. Put your hands up, my people. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Yeah. To the Abba, I'm thankful for every piece of mind you gave me while functioning through these streets. New day, different grind, but I promise I never leave. New trials, new hurdles, I jump up like track meets. Attack beats for my Abba, this passion, it runs deep. Your people living tragic with habits incomplete. One way to keep you down with these mental lobotomies. Distracted what they feed, what my people are unseen. No justice, no peace, picking signs, they picking up. Only if they will return to my Abba, he lift them up. No trust in the system, it's filthy, dirty, corrupt. Never had our best interest, we put ourselves in this rut. What a shame, my ancestors just rolling out in their grave. Reflection, who you serve, reflect on how we behave. Or disobedient child will never reach half his days. Or the media will capture the downfall of a slave. Or your mama in the front pew, tears behind the shades. Staring at your casket, emotions become delayed. Heart filled with pain, Yahuwah ain't playing games. The wide road is deadly, encourage to switch their lanes. And I'm pleading with you, Abba, I need your heart in exchange. You don't know a man when truly he is to blame. Three fingers our direction, how lowly how we became. Main finger at our oppressor, but surely you pull the strings. A mouth full of complaint can tighten the ball and chain. Joshua saw his people fall off for the same thing. Knowing most of them were slain, only few of them overcame. We must all count the cost of this walk is truly in vain. Surface men are puffed up, they could never truly obtain. More concerned with being seen than respect on Yahuwah's name. Genealogy won't save you, this plus that thought down the drain. No matter 12 tribes, your fringes must fly. If your righteousness don't exceed the Pharisees' scribes, then he hard pressed, trust even harder to stay alive. No job, double-minded man, prayers don't reach the sky. Went up and came down like a crack fiend when it's high. I know we all must decide, Yahuwah resists the pride. The humble and the meek will inherit what he describes. So wonderful and beautiful, never seen with your eyes. Come out of it, my people, become a suitable bride. Put your hands up, my people, put your hands up. Put your hands up, my people, put your hands up. Put your hands up, my people, put your hands up. Put your hands up, put your hands up. Put your hands up for Abba, put your hands up. Put your hands up for Abba, put your hands up. Put your hands up for Abba, put your hands up. Put your hands up, put your hands up. Yeah. Praise Abba Yahuwah. In a set apart place. Him and his mighty expanse. Praise him for his mighty acts. Praise him according to his excellent greatness. Praise him with blowing the shofars. Praise him with the harp and the lyre, the tambourine and dance. Praise him with string instruments and flutes. Praise him with sounding cymbals. Praise him with resounding cymbals. Let all that breathe praise Yah. Yeah. Praise Yah. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Sing before him, oh, be on. For he alone is worthy. For he alone is worthy.
Shalom, shalom, Yasharala. I hope all is well. Do you hear that? You hear that dinner bell? It's ringing. Time to come feast upon the word of Abba Yahuwah, the Most High, our wonderful Creator. Come through, face down, prepared to give him all honor, all glory, all praise, and all esteem. If you hear the birds chirping in the background and a little bit of wind and some rustling, if you hear that and you want to know why you hear that, here I'm going to give you the explanation as to why you might be hearing different noises. It's hot outside, and where I am is the only spot I have to bring this message to you. I can't wait to bring it to you to a more suitable time. It's dinner time. I always tell my children, you eat what you get and you don't throw a fit. And why would you? There's nothing more nourishing, more valuable than His Word. And you're gonna see that in the message I have to bring to you tonight. Right here, we jumped ahead to Jeremiah 15, verse 19. Therefore, thus said Yahuwah, if you turn back, then I shall bring you back. Before me you shall stand. Keep part here. And if you take out the precious from the worthless, you shall become as my mouth. Let them return to you, but do not return to them. One key nugget you need to take from tonight's video is, I don't know if you've seen it or not, if you've seen a little bit of what's going on in the world today. They're passing laws. The House has presented a bill that will make it a law enabling the government to punish online speech. And you should know, if you're here to feed upon the word only, you ain't here because of my beats or to mock and scoff or to put your 2 worthless cents in. You know, just like last time when the lockdown came, one of you remember Biden saying the real epidemic is those who don't take the jab, who is spreading misinformation online. You should know, if you're like me, that this whole thing is the dragon being wroth with the woman and the remnant of her seed. That's what this is about. If you don't know that, if you've wondered what the chemtrails in the sky is about, it's the dragon being wroth with the woman and the remnant of her seed. If you didn't know what COVID was about, it's about the dragon being wroth with the woman and the remnant of her seed. It's the battle against the set apart, innocent blood. The Most High relayed to me in the last few days that I'm gonna have to be more tight. I'm gonna have to tighten my lips. I'm gonna have to be on guard with what I say from now on because of the time that we're in. I'm not, there's certain things I won't be able to say from now on, or that I shouldn't say. I'm a dumbass, an epic dumbass. I might just fail in that commandment. But for those of you who've been here and you've been feeding on the word and you see what's happening, and you're not part of the wrong, so you do understand, you should just take what we read, and you should be able to navigate on your own. I'm going to have to take a break from chopping it up, slicing and dicing for you. You know, like a kid. My son, he was 10, 11 years old, and he still wanted me to cut his meat up on the plate in little pieces. You should be mature enough that you've moved on to solid food and that you can take it upon yourself to prepare it. I shouldn't have to cut it up for you. So remember all that we've learned here on All Esteem. All that the Most High has shown us. Remember all those valuable, priceless pearls of truth that He has blessed us with. And use what you've learned. We're coming into the days where we're going to have to be like ninjas. We have to be on point. I was reminded of a dream this morning. I woke up and I was reminded of a dream I had years ago when this whole thing started for me. I've told you guys about this dream before, but I'm gonna repeat it real quick. I had a dream that I was on this road. We used to call it the quarter-mile strip, where we used to go race on this back road away from where I grew up, not too far from where I grew up. And my ex-in-laws, my first marriage, were there, and they had this beautiful 69 Camaro, which is like my favorite car. And I was awed by it. And I was looking at this Camaro. And my ex-father-in-law and ex-brother-in-law came up and they were like, "Oh, you like it? Take it, go ahead, take it for a spin." And I was like, "What?" And it just didn't seem right. It was like, yeah, right. You guys are gonna let me in that car that's got to be worth $100,000 just to take it for a spin? They were like, "Yeah, no, go ahead, take it for a spin." And I was like, "Okay." So I hopped in it, and I was getting ready to put it in gear, and my ex-brother-in-law leaned in the window, and he said, "So when you go down this road up here, it goes down a hill, and there's a turnaround at the bottom. Just go down, just crack it, just punch the snot out of it. Down there, just turn around and bring it back." I was like, "All right." I did. I get in it, and I just punched the crap out of it. And I went down the hill, and I come down, and there was a circle, like a cul-de-sac, whatever, at the end of it, right? And there was a lake to my left. And I went to turn around, and when I did, I looked back up the hill, back up the road from where I came from. And all them people, all my ex-in-laws, a bunch of people I knew were standing in front of this like gate looking thing. And it was like in the Olympics, you know, when they're getting ready to go skiing down a hill, that thing that's in front of them and they drop it and then they can go. It looked like that. And my ex-father-in-law had his hand on this lever and he hit it, and that gate dropped, and a tidal wave come through that gate. Not the people that were standing in front of it, but a wave came down that hill, and it smacked the car that I was in and knocked me out of the car. And I grabbed a hold of this big tree, and I was holding on for dear life. That's the dream he reminded me of this morning, and I'm going to tell you why it is he brought that back to my attention. If you're not esteeming the Most High right now like you ought to be, if you're not on your horn, if you haven't given up the pleasures that hold you back in this life, odds are that it's because it would affect your desires. Your desires. In the dream, if I wouldn't have been awed by that 69 Camaro, I would have never had to go through that flood. I would have never had to risk my life. That's what this is all about. No, better yet, let the Most High, Abba Yahuwah, show you what he's talking about. Right here, where we left off. Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 1. Righteous are you, O Yahuwah, when I plead with you. Indeed, let me speak with you about right rulings. Why has the way of the wrong prospered? All the workers of treachery are at ease. You have planted them, and they have taken root. They grow, and they bear fruit. You are near in their mouth, but far from their kidneys. But you have known me, O Yahuwah. You see me, and you have tried my heart towards you. Draw them away like sheep for slaughter, and separate them for the day of slaughter. How long shall the land mourn, and the plants of every field wither? The beast and birds are consumed for the evil of those who dwell there, because they said, he does not see our latter ending. If you have run with the footmen, and they have wearied you, then how do you contend with horses? And if in the land of peace you feel safe, then how do you manage in the Yarden jungle? The last few videos, and for a while, I've been talking about how they want to grab us by the heel. We've wearied ourselves with our family members, with those we love, and we mourn over the prospect of them dying because of the crookedness they're succumbed to. How do we expect to live in the kingdom and be the sovereigns that he plans for us to be when these crooked people have wearied us? These Nike showing, falsehood loving, fake people. This is something we have to overcome. How long have I been saying that? I've overcome it, Mishpachah. And I pray and hope that you do as well. For even your brothers, the house of your father, even they have betrayed you. Even they have cried aloud after you. Do not believe them, Mishpachah, even though they speak smooth words to you. I have forsaken my house. I have left my inheritance. I have given the beloved of my being into the hand of her enemies. My inheritance has become to me like a lion in the forest. It cries out against me. Therefore I have hated it. My inheritance is to me like a speckled bird of prey. The birds of prey all around are against her. Against her. If you see like these Trump slogans and different campaign slogans where it says, we're in this together, break that word together down. Actually, what they're saying is we're in this to get her. It's a play on words. Understand that we're in the battle for our lives. Many shepherds have destroyed my vineyard. They have trodden my portion underfoot. They have made my pleasant portion become a deserted wilderness. They have laid it waste, a waste. It mourns to me. All the land is laid waste because no one takes it to heart. The ravagers have come on all the bare heights in the wilderness, for the sword of Yahuwah is devouring from one end of the land to the other end of the land. There is no peace to any flesh. They have sown wheat, but reaped thorns. They have exhausted themselves. They do not profit, and they shall be ashamed of your harvest because of the burning displeasure of Yahuwah. Thus said Yahuwah, as for all my evil neighbors who touch the inheritance which I have caused my people, Yasharal, to inherit, see, I am plucking them out of their land, and I shall pluck out the house of the house of Yehudah from their midst. And it shall be, after my plucking them out, I shall return and have compassion on them, and bring them back, everyone to his inheritance and everyone to his land. And it shall be, if they learn well the ways of my people to swear by my name, as Yahuwah lives, as they taught my people to swear by Baal, then they shall be established in the midst of my people. But if they do not obey, I shall pluck up and destroy that nation, declares Yahuwah. The last video I made, I learned the next day that I made that video on the 144th day of the year. And it was all about Jeremiah chapter 31, what a promise the Most High has for us. It's all about the 144. And that night, I end up watching a movie titled The Pledge. And that movie is coded, in code, it explains our mission. It explains what this is all about, what the enemy thinks of us, and the mockery he makes of the Most High and us. But if you ain't paying attention, if you can't take the precious from the worthless, you'll never know. If you watch it, you'll be like anyone who stops to hear my videos here on All Esteem, and you'll be like them. If you're like them, you'll think this guy's crazy. This is nonsense. The only way you could actually know and understand what I'm saying and why I'm saying it is you've had to been here this whole time. You've had to been here with your handkerchief on around and your fork and knife in hand, ready to feed on the word of Abba Yahuwah. That'd be the only way. And if you are that way, like myself, if you watch the movie The Pledge with Jack Nicholson, you'll see that whole movie is about what's going on and what's about to go on. In that movie, Jack Nicholson is a cop at the beginning, and he's set to retire. They have him a retirement party, and they buy him a fishing trip, where he could go off and go fishing down in wherever. And a murder happens during his party where this little girl was found raped. This daughter was found raped and murdered. And instead of retiring, he said he had 6 hours until his retirement. He decided to go leave his party and go to try and investigate what happened with this little girl. And I won't tell you every part of it. Just go watch it and have your eyes on and your ears turned on when you watch it. He goes to the airport to leave for his vacation that all his friends and family bought him, and he walks up to gate. Can you guess what gate it's going to be? Gate 42. And he decides to not go because he promised the mother of this little girl who was slain that he would find her murderer. And he goes off, and he goes up into the area where the murder happened, and he buys this little gas station bait shop in order to investigate this, because he's made it now his life's mission to figure this out. And he figures out who the killer is. And the killer is a pastor at this church who gives these little girls these little porcupine gifts, these little chocolates that are shaped like porcupines. And he gives them to these little girls, his victims. And spoiler alert, Jack Nicholson, his character, he knows who the killer is, and he tries to set up this sting operation where he's going to take the killer down. And not one person believes a word he says. They don't believe that he knows who the killer is. They think the case is sealed and shut, that the killer had been found. And he sets up this sting because he knows that the killer's going to try and abduct this little girl. And because all his friends love him and he'd been there for them, they give him this one last gift or whatever to come and set up this sting operation. And they're waiting for this guy to get there. And he don't show up because on his way there, a dump truck takes him out and kills him, and he dies in a fire, burned up in the car. So the end of it, the moral of that story is that the Most High took that killer out before he could do any more damage, like he will the enemy. And that the man who took the time to investigate all this, his friends and all these people who he loved, who he tried to persuade, and to show the truth to, they didn't believe him. They thought he was crazy. Because the man never came. He was coming though. But he ended up getting killed in a head-on collision. And it's called The Pledge. It was a mockery of someone, of Abba, and someone like myself, who's fighting and spending hours, waking hours, looking to the evidence, weighing it. And he sees beyond the shadow of a doubt what the problem is, who the purpose. But all these people around, they aren't listening. Why? Because they want it to be over. They want to get on about their merry way. They want to go back to gift giving. Those porcupines. Go check it out and you tell me. But back to the word here. To chapter 13. And we're going to get this chapter because your life depends upon it. That's why. And you can mock and scoff me all you want for putting in the work. Just remember though, suited and booted, baby, here I am. Verse 1, thus said Yahuwah, said to me, go and get yourself a linen girdle and put it on your loins, but do not put it in water. So I brought a girdle according to the word of Yahuwah and put it on my loins. And the word of Yahuwah came to me the second time, saying, take the girdle that you have brought, which is on your loins, and arise, go to the Euphrates, and hide it there in a hole in the rock. And I went and hid it by the Euphrates as Yahuwah commanded me. And it came to be after many days that Yahuwah said to me, arise, go to the Euphrates, and take from there the girdle which I commanded you to hide there. So I went to the Euphrates and dug, and I took the girdle from the place where I had hidden it. And there was the girdle, ruined. It was completely useless. And the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, pay attention, Mish. Thus said Yahuwah, thus I ruined the pride of Yehuda and the great pride of Yerushalayim. I told you in the beginning of this that I'm going to have to keep it tight. That I'm not going to, in order to do what's right, I'm going to have to be precise with my words. I've given you the place and the time and the truth. If you don't know by now, you're going to have to go back through and re-listen. It's real, my mishpachah. Prove me wrong. You can't, you won't. I'll be right here waiting. You done? No. If you're anyone who still is friendly with these holidays and these names, you still laugh and giggle with adultery, which is pride, which is the curse, bring it to a screeching halt now. Mishpachah. Right now. He's bringing it to a ruin. There won't be anything to rub elbows with pretty soon. This evil people who refuse to hear my words, who walk in the stubbornness of their heart and walk after other mighty ones to serve them and to bow themselves to them, is like the girdle which is completely useless. If you ain't an absolute enemy in opposition to anything Babylon, you're completely useless. For as the girdle clings to the loins of a man, so I have caused all the house of Yasharal and all the house of Yehuda to cling to me, declares Yahuwah, to become mine for a people and for a name and for a praise and for an adorning, but they did not listen. And you shall speak to them this word, thus said Yahuwah, the mighty most high Yasharal, every bottle is to be filled with wine. And when they say to you, like they always do, showing the bottom of their Nikes, do we not know that every bottle should be filled with wine? Then say to them, thus said Yahuwah, see, I am filling all the inhabitants of this land and the sovereigns who sit on the throne of Daud and the priest and the prophets and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem with drunkenness. And I shall dash them one against another, both the fathers and the sons together, declares Yahuwah. I do not spare nor pardon nor have compassion, that I should not destroy them. Listen, open your ear, turn it on, and give ear. Do not be proud. Do not even consider what you won't get or what you will get. Know right now that there's nothing in this world worth your eternal life, your relationship, where you can be face down, giving all esteem to Abba Yahuwah. Nothing. Give esteem to Yahuwah, your mighty most high, before he brings darkness and before your feet stumble on the dark mountains. You know what the mountains are. And while you are looking for light, he turns it into the shadow of death, makes it gross darkness. And if you do not listen, my being shall weep in secret for your pride, and my eyes bitterly weep and run down with tears, because the flock of Yahuwah shall be taken captive. Say to the sovereign and to the sovereigness mother, humble yourselves. Christians, sit down, for your rule, the crown of your comeliness has come down. The cities of the south shall be shut up with no one to open them. Take note, Mishpachah. Yehuda shall be taken into exile, all of it. She shall be taken into exile completely. Completely. Know which way you come. Know where you're going. Know what highway you're on. Make sure it's that highway to peace. Lift up your eyes and see those who come from the north. Where is the flock that was given to you, your fair sheep? What would you say when he visits you? For you have taught them to be chiefs, to be head over you. Do not pang seize you like a woman in labor? And when you say in your heart, why has this come upon me? It is because of your great crookedness that your skirts have been uncovered, your heels made bare. Does a Cushite change his skin and a leopard its spots? You who are taught to do evil are also unable to do good. So I shall scatter them like stubble that passes away by the wind of the wilderness. This is your lot, your measured portion from me, declares Yahuwah, because you have forgotten me and trust in falsehood. If you're unwilling to get on your horn, what's the reason? You don't have to say it in the comments. You're not gonna. It's because of what you fear that others will think of you. Let loose now. Be tight with your speech, but let your speech be heard, and let it be all esteem and all praise to Abba Yahuwah the Most High. Now, while you have a chance, while there's still YouTube and Facebook and platforms for you to Publish esteem for him. Let it be heard now. Hold nothing back, Mishpachah. Get on your horn now. It don't matter if your friends think you're crazy. They're gonna think you're crazy. What matters, the thought of the one that matters is what the Most High thinks. Only. I shall even draw your skirts over your face, and your shame shall be seen. Your adulteries and your nighings, the wickedness of your whoring. I have seen your abominations on the hills and the fields. Woe to you, O Yerushalayim! How long before you would be made clean? I'm going to end it right there. We read 12 and 13. Next chapter's 14. Take the precious from the worthless. I'm not saying the word of the Most High is worthless. You should know better. But the rendering of it, like most, is worthless. They read it to their own destruction. That's being killed by the sword. That's what that means. The scarcity of food. That's what that means. Come hungry. Come ready. Feed on his word, Mishpachah. The time is short, and look, it all comes down to who you fear. Do you fear your friends and your family, what they're going to think of you? Let them be your God. Let them save you in your time of evil. They won't be able to. Fear Abba, Yahuwah, the Most High, our wonderful Creator. Face down, giving him all honor, all praise, all glory, and all esteem. He's the only one that's going to save you in the time of evil that we have come to. Prove me wrong. You can't. You won't. I'll be right here waiting. Suited and booted, baby. Get some.